Okay, in the last class, what we are discussing? We are discussing of the loop concept. Let me open that particular file. It's a file number 7. Okay, so what we have learned in the last class, we have learned the counter control loop, and we have learned the patterns concept also. Okay, and then we have learned the transfer statement also. Okay, so conditional statement is completed, transfer statement is completed. Okay, now let's go to the next particular concept, that is the functions concept. Okay, so let me create a new particular file. Okay, and let's write the file name as a functions. Okay, so let's understand what is function, why we are using the function, what is the use of the function, and how to apply the functions. So simply, this function is nothing but it's a it's a block. Okay, it's a block, and in this block, what we are doing, we are writing. Now, the question arises here. Okay, each and every block having some particular specific reason is there. Example purpose, you are writing the conditional statement. In the conditional statement, you have if block is there, you have else if block is there, we have else block is there. Then we have learned the loop concept. In the loop concept also we are using the while block. In that same particular loop concept, we are using the for block also. So each and every block having their own specific meaning, means what I am performing using the if, okay, and what I'm performing with the for loop, what I'm performing with the while loop, these are the different things are there. In each and every particular block, we are writing the different types of codes here, right? Like if else is used for the conditional statement, for and while used for the looping statement, right? So now what is the purpose to write the functions? What actually we are writing inside of the function? So inside of the function, you can write till now whatever you have learned, and in the next classes also what you're going to learn, all the topics you can include inside of the function. Simply you can say it's a mini program. It's a mini program, means whatever the executions you wanted to perform, and you wanted to store that particular code, and you wanted to reuse that particular code, then I need to use the functions. Okay, so here we are writing the code, we are storing the code, we are reusing the code, and we are executing the code. But what type of code you can write? You can write you can write variables, you can store basic data types also, and advanced we are not learn, we have to we're going to complete in the upcoming classes. Like list is there, tuple is there, set is there, dictionaries are there, all these things we are going to cover. Okay, we can write conditions, we can write loops, we can create formulas. Okay, we can write set of process. Okay, what we need to execute on what particular, like step by step also you can write it. You can use the different particular files also you can access. You can use the try and catch, like a try and accept, like exception handling concept. There are different things are there you can write inside of the function. Simply it's a mini program. Like outside of the function, whatever the topics you're using, all the particular topics you can include inside of the functionalities only. Okay, clear this point? Yes, no, any doubt?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now how many types of functions we have? We have two types of functions are there. The first one is called predefined function, which is also called built-in functions, which is also called ready-made functions. The second one is called user-defined function, which is also called customized function, customized functions. So what is the difference between the predefined and user defined? Predefined means which is already available for you. So whenever I wanted to execute any ready-made code, like in the last classes, we have used the string built-in functions. We have print function is there. We have input functions are there. We have conversion functions are there. Like input, we are converting as an integer value. Okay, these are the ready-made functions are there. In the upcoming classes also, when we work with the other data types, like we have list is there, tuple is there, set is there, dictionaries are there. For that purpose also we use the some ready-made functions. We use the range function in the loop also. So there are some type of functions are there which is already available for you to execute the code. To ready-made code, if you wanted to generate, you are not writing. For example, let's take an example. I'm storing some particular a equals to hello world. Okay, and here I wanted to check the how many words are there. So simply I'm using the split function. Okay, and this split function will give me the total words here. Again, if I count, I have the length function is there. Okay, so simply I can check how many words are there. Similarly, if I wanted to check only characters, directly I can write the length function. So these functions, are we created these functions? No, we are not created. This is ready-madely available for you to generate some particular ready-made results. Are you getting my point, guys? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so whenever I wanted to generate any particular result, if something is ready-madely available for me, I can use those particular ready-made functions. I can generate the result. Almost for all the particular basic calculations, basic execution purpose, whatever the regular we do those type of works, these functions are already available for us. There are two ways are there, like accessing these type of functions. There are some particular like functions are already ready-madely available for you. Okay, there are ready-madely available when we install the Python software. So some particular functions built in available for you, but there are some particular functions are there we need to access from the other Python files. Okay, that we are going to learn, like how we are going to access the other Python file. This that is also called modules or libraries, Python libraries, Python modules. That also we are going to cover into the upcoming classes. Okay, so here these ready-made functions are used for what purpose? These ready-made functions are used to generate the ready-made results. I don't need to write any particular code. Simply I'm using that particular names here, and just using the names we are accessing the result. But who is created these names, who is created these particular functions? So already some developers are created these type of functionalities, and we are using this particular functionality to generate the some ready-made results. Now just assume some particular formulas are there, some executions are there, some results I wanted to generate, but there are no ready-made functions are available. Then what you have to do? Then we need to create our own particular customized function. Just assume uh, there is a one particular dress is there. Okay, there is a one particular blazer is there. Okay, just assume there is a one like pant shirt is there, or some t-shirt is there. Okay, anything. Okay, just assume there is one dress is there. Now this particular dress I have just thought in my mind. Okay, I want this particular dress for my brother reception. Okay, so now what I'm doing here? Okay, I'm just searching that particular dress, but it is not coming, but it is not available in the market. Just assume it is not available in the market. So what I'll do, I can purchase the cloth, I can give to the tailor, I can customize, right? Yes, no? Guys, clear? Yes,
Yes, sir.
no? Yes.
Yeah.
So similarly, same thing is going to be happened here. If something is code is not available for you, so what you need to do, because we are a programmer, right? We are the developer, we need to write our own particular code. So for this particular purpose, we need to create our own particular customized function. So here actually what we are doing, here we are creating our own customized function. So whenever I'm creating this particular customized function, there will be some steps will be there, right? Like if I wanted to store the data, if I wanted to write the conditions, if I wanted to write the loop, there is some steps are there. If I want to use the operator, some particular guidelines are there. There is some particular procedure is there. There is some concept is there. Similarly, if I wanted to create my own particular functionalities, there is a concept called aspect of the function. What we call aspect of the function here. So what is these aspect of the functions are divided into three particular stages. The first one called declaration, second one called defining of the function, and third one called accessing of the function. These are the three particular ways to use to create your function, to access your particular functionality. So what is the declaration here? Declaration means here we are assigning the name of the function. Assigning the name of the function means print function is there. So means print is the name of the function. Split is there. So split is the name of the function. Okay. Similarly, length is there. So length is the name of the function. So if I wanted to create any particular functionality, I have to give the name here. Why I am giving the name? Because later if I wanted to execute that particular code, I don't need to write the entire code. This code can be accessible the name of the function. Is it clear, guys? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Now, whenever I'm giving the name here, now you can see here, there are some functions are there which in this particular bracket. So whenever you find this open bracket, close bracket, it means it is a function. Okay, like normally also we write print, right? Print hi. Okay, so print hi we are writing. So it means what? It is a function. Okay, similarly if I'm writing a dot something upper, so it means this is a function. Now you can find some differences here. Okay, if I write print hi, or else if I'm writing something like print something like I'm writing a comma by. Okay, so now you can see here somewhere we are not passing anything inside of the bracket. Sometimes we are mentioning one value, sometimes we are mentioning two value. So what is this, sir? So here in the beginning classes also we have learned this concept called parameter and arguments. Like when we run the escape sequence in the first particular classes, I hope you guys are remember. Maybe in the second practical class we have learned the escape sequence concept. So whenever you create any function, in this particular function is accepting the values. If any function is accepting the values, then you have to create the function in a different way. If it is not accepting the value, you have to create the function in a different way. So these are called with declaration, with argument, declaration, without argument. What we call with argument and without arguments. Okay, without arguments. Without arguments. What is the meaning of this without argument? With argument means any function which you have created, any function which you have created, and while executing the function, while executing the function, if okay, if you are not passing any value, this value will be called as a what? Arguments. We have already learned. Okay, so you have to remember all the fundamentals from first one what we are learning. Okay, so any function which you have created, and while executing the function, if you are not passing any particular value, so this value called argument. Means you can see in the print function a comma by is there. So how many arguments are there? Can anyone tell how many arguments are there? How many arguments are there in this line number 8?
I think two.
2. Very good. There are 2 arguments are there. Line number 6, how many arguments are there?
One.
Line number 6, 1. Very good. Line number 7, how many arguments are there?
One.
No, line number 7, we have not passed any arguments. Nothing is
Okay.
there in the bracket. Are you
Okay.
getting my point, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, no. Okay. So whenever you create the function, and if you are not passing any particular value, so this value, when you're passing the value, this is called arguments. What we call arguments. So whenever I'm creating any function, I'm not passing, okay, you can see I'm not passing any value, then these type of functions will be declared as a without arguments. This function will be called as a function without arguments. Clear this point? Function without argument means
Yes, sir.
Okay, any function which is not accepting any type of value, any function where you are not mentioning any type of value while executing, these type of function will be called as a without argument declaration function. Reverse to that, means if any particular function you are creating, okay, if any function, if you are creating these particular functions, okay, here you are passing any particular values, maybe one value, maybe two values, maybe three values, maybe four values. So these type of functions will be called as a with argument. So now note, one more note. So when, okay, you are not passing any arguments, then no need to assign the parameter name, parameter name here. So we don't need to, no need to assign the parameter name. But reverse to that, whenever I am assigning, okay, whenever I'm passing any particular argument, so whenever when you are passing any arguments, then it is mandatory, then it is mandatory to assign the parameters. So what is the parameters? Next question, interview question. What is parameter? So parameter, it's a name, it's a name which hold the, which hold the arguments value which is passed, which is passed when you are passing, which is passed during the execution of the program. So whenever you pass any particular value, okay, during the execution, how the values are going to be stored, how the values are going to be, like this value is going to be used in the formulas, how it is going to be work. So these values are stored inside one particular name. This name is called parameter. Like example, if I'm writing something a equals to 10, b equals to 20, okay, so here what is a and b? These are called variables. What we call? We call variables. So variables also holding the data. Similarly, this is also data, right? By also data is there. A also, in the a also some data is stored. So how these things are executing? So somewhere it is storing, right? After storing only it is executing. So how it is storing? It will store as a parameter. So parameter is a concept, like how we have a variable concept. Same thing, we have a parameter concept. So what is the use of the parameter? To hold the arguments value which is passed during the executions. Is it clear, guys? Yes, no, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whenever I wanted to pass any particular values, compulsory need to mention the parameter. Now, what is the syntax here to create the with argument and without argument? Okay. So simply syntax is very simple. Let me just write the syntax. Okay, so here I just need to mention the def keyword, and then you have to give any name to your particular function, and then you have to mention the open bracket and close bracket, and then here you have to mention the some particular parameter name here, like how we give the a b c d. Like this you can give the parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, how many parameters you want, you can give that particular parameter name here. Similarly, if I'm creating any particular function, this is not accepting any particular arguments, then I don't need to mention any particular name here. So here I'm not mentioning any name. If I'm not mentioning the name means it will not hold any type of value. Clear this point, guys? Yes, no, everyone? Any doubts, any
No, sir.
questions? No. Now the next thing is, okay, sir, we understand, okay, how to give the name, but how to write the code, where we need to write the code. So this area, defining area here, in the defining area, we are going to write the code. So here we are writing our code. This area is called defining area. So how we are going to write this? What is the syntax? Syntax is very simple. Same syntax will be there. Okay. What for example, here you have written with a parameter or without parameter. Just you need to mention the, after that one tab space you have to give, and then you can write the code. Okay. If same thing, if it is not coming with the any particular parameters, just remove the parameter if parameter is not required, and then whatever the code you wanted to generate, that code can be executed. Clear this point? This is called defining area. So this, whatever the code you are writing, this code area will be called defining area, and whatever the name you are writing, this name will be called as a declaration. Now once I write the code, if I wanted to execute the code, that is called accessing area. So here we are executing the code using or using name of the function, name of the function. Executing. Okay, there is a one more word we can call the function also. So calling the function, executing the function, accessing the function, all are same only. What is the syntax here? So here you have tried the, whatever the name you have given, the name of the function, and this, if any parameters are passed, then here I need to mention the arguments, argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, like this I need to mention. Okay, if any parameters are not mentioned, okay, if any parameter is not mentioned, then simply what we need to do, we need to write the name of the function. That's it. Then automatically it is going to be executed. Clear this point? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Now let's write how to write the functions. Okay, how to write the function. So simply I'm going to create one def keyword, and I'm going to write something like wish as a one particular name, and simply I wanted to print. So now this is called what? This is called declaration. Declaration. And this is called what? Defining. And once you declare and define, you need to call the function. So this is called calling the function. Clear everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let's write some particular variables here. Okay. For example, I'm writing student one equals to, okay, something one. Okay. Student two equals to something Raj. Okay. Now I wanted to add here this particular variables inside of the function. So let me write something like message, and here I'm going to print something. Okay. Hi student one. Okay. Okay. So this particular I wanted to generate. So simply you can see here, if I add this message, we can access the data. Yes, we can access. If I change the particular code here, student 2, okay, message 2, we are accepting the data. Now here what I want here, I wanted to change this particular data during the execution. I don't want to change my code every time, because you can see every time if I wanted to, if I want other particular student name, again I need to change the name. Again one more student is there. Again I need to change my particular name here. Means defining area code is changing here. So I don't wanted to make any changes in the defining area, but in the execution area I wanted to change it. So for that purpose, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a parameter and arguments concept. So using the parameter and arguments concept, we are going to access the data, we are going to pass in the data, we're going to work with the data during the execution. Let's take an example here. I'm just using one particular def keyword, and simply I'm writing this message, and here I'm writing something like a student. And simply I'm writing the same particular code, okay, and here I'm going to use this particular parameter value as a students. Now, once I run this particular message, you can see here we are getting some particular error. What is the error here? You have to pass one particular arguments that is missing, because when you mention the parameter, it is mandatory you have to pass the argument. So here you're not mentioning the parameter, you're not mentioning the arguments. Simple. Now if I write here message, and here I'm writing something like Chandu. So now you can see here it is saying, hi Chandu, keep coding. If I write again message, if I'm writing something like Shekhar, okay. So now you can see here, hi Shekhar, keep coding is printed. Okay. But if did I am changing any particular name here inside of the code? No, I'm not writing. I'm just only student is there. So student become my parameter. Shaker become my arguments. Even you can write like this direct message, for example, student one. Message student two. Only value is changing here. Did we change anything in the code? No. Defining area is not changing. Only execution is changing. So whenever I wanted to accept any particular values during the execution, I wanted to reuse that particular values, then I need to use the parameter and arguments concept. Is it clear, everyone? Yes, no.
Yes, sir.
Let's, you can work with the numbers also. It is like not like that you cannot only use the string. Let's create some particular formula. Like I wanted to add two numbers. So here I'm going to use a comma b as a two particular parameter, and simply I'm going to write all this particular value. Something like my a particular value is this, okay, and here I wanted to write b value is this, and I need to maintain the indentation error, otherwise I'll get the error in the execution. So this is my b value, and here I'm going to mention something equals b. Okay, now let me run this particular result, and I'm going to try to add something 2 comma 3. We are getting the result. If I write something 4 comma 5, we are getting the result. If I changing the value, you can see I'm just changing the values here. The results are coming perfect. Okay, just assume I don't want to write the statements directly. I wanted to execute the result. So for that purpose, I'm going to use the return keyword. So return keyword is what? It is a last line of the function. Means after this particular, if I mention any lines, it is not going to be acceptable. Example, just assume here I'm going to write something like return. Okay, and here I'm going to write something thank you. Now once I run this, click add something 1 comma 2. Now I can see thank you is printing in the last. But now you can see in this particular code, again after this print, I'm writing something like any other particular statement here. Okay, now if I run this add something 2 comma 3, are we getting this high? No, we are not getting this particular high. But the same thing if I write this particular print, okay, one more particular print before the rate, okay, something like bar. Okay, so again I'm going to write something. Now you can see by is printing, but high is not printing. Why high is not printing? Because it is written after the return keywords. So whenever you mention the return, it means it will terminate the block of your particular any doubt, any questions? Now, directly also you can use the return particular keyword here. Okay, how to use this particular directly return keyword? So simply, okay, if I write something like same particular code, I don't want the statements. Let's write add equals to a comma b, and here I'm going to use the return. I don't want the statement directly. I want it to return. Yes, directly also you can return it. Example purpose add, and here I'm going to mention something 12 comma 12. Okay, add something 1 comma. So directly result is happening. Like how we are using the length of the a. Okay, we are getting the, okay, so we have stored something. Okay, and directly we are reading the length of the a. Okay, we are getting some particular results here. Similarly, same you can see This means these executions are generated using the return keyword. There is no statements are executed, direct result are generated. Same thing you can see, if I write add 1 comma 2, only result is generated. Is it clear, guys? Yes, no, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now let's write one more formula. Okay, I wanted to print the square of the given number. Let's take number as n, and here I wanted to return n into n. Okay, and just print the square of the given number. Now you can see square number is printing. Okay, square of 3, square is 20. Square of something 6, 6 square is 20. Let's write one more something cube of the given number. Okay, just pass one number, and I want it directly. I don't want the statement directly. I wanted to print the results. Means 3 times I need to multiply. Okay, and cube of the given number. Cube of the given number. Cube of the given number. Let's write one more. Some power of any particular number. A to the power of b to the power of 3, like that. So a comma b, two numbers, and return simple a double asterisk b. For example, I wanted to get the power of to the power of 3 or something. To the power of 3 I want. 8 is there. Power of something 4 to the power of 2. You're getting some result. Let's write power of something 10 to the power of 4. I'll get some result. Everyone, is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Same thing, we have a one more function called lambda function. So what is the lambda function? It is used to create one line function. So whenever you don't have the multiple lines are there, so why you need to write the normal way? You can go with the lambda function. This is also called anonymous function also, or one line function also. It means you're not going the way like how we write the def keyword, all these things. So directly we are going to write these executions in one line. Example purpose, let's I wanted to print the message here. Just assume I have to give some name here. I have to use the lambda keyword, and then I need to mention what I wanted to generate. Okay, I say keep coding. Okay, and once you print this particular message one, now you can see here you are getting this particular hi good day, keep coding. So are we follow this pattern? No, this is the one more particular pattern. This is called lambda function, which is used for what purpose? When you're writing only one line code. Let's write the same thing, add of the two number. Okay, so add equals to lambda function. Here I need to pass the parameter spelling. Okay, I need to pass the parameter a comma b, and then what I wanted to generate, simply a plus b. And once you write print add one something 2 comma 3, and now you can see we are generating. Same thing, let's write the square of the given number. Square equals to lambda keyword. Okay, something any number is there, and then number into number. Okay, square of the given. Let's take cube of the given number. Lambda, okay, a into a into a into a into a. Let's write cube of the given number, something 4. We're getting the result. Let's take one more power of the given number. Lambda, okay, something like a comma b, and I want to write a into b here. Okay, power of any particular 3 to the power of 4. Clear, everyone? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now let me assign you some task related to the functions here. So from the task, okay. So now what we have to do, you have to create a function and pass any parameter, but don't pass the argument. If you're not passing the argument, you'll get the error, but you have to research it, how to solve that particular error. Question is simple, passing the parameter, but not passing the arguments. If I'm not passing the argument means I'll get the error. Example, you created some particular function. Okay, just assume we just now we created the cube function, right? And in this cube function, compulsory need to pass the parameter. If I'm If I'm passing the argument value, then only I'll get the answer. Okay, but if I'm not passing the argument value, I'll get the error here. But you should not get the error, you should get some particular output. So how to do this? You have to research, okay, and do it. If it is not coming, you have to ask me in the next class. Next question, create a function as a parameter but pass multiple values. For example, if I write cube and I'm passing two values, 2 comma, again I'm get the error because 2 is given, only 1 is acceptable. So how to solve this particular issues? If I wanted to create multi, I don't know, like I need to mention 3, 4, 5, 6 like this. For example, print function is there. In the print function, I can pass n number of particular values like hi, comma, bye, okay, something a variable, something b variable. How many particular values I wanted to pass, I can pass it. Okay, so how to create this type of functions? Research it. Okay, so okay, create one more function. Write a program to execute arithmetic operators by using parameter and arguments. Okay, and also do the input function also. Okay, first go with the parameter and arguments, or and then go with the input function to generate the okay arithmetic operation result, like enter a value, enter b value, enter the operator, like that. Okay, we have already done in the conditional statement, also we have done in the normal operators concept also. So but implement the same code inside of that particular your normal particular function. Next question, create a recursive function to execute 10 to 1 values. I wanted to print 10 to 1 value counts, and what is the recursive function? Research it. If it is not coming, then I'll explain in the next class. Okay, next, factor of the given number using the with recursion, without recursion. Okay, next question, research about what is the any function, and using the any function, if I how to check the given string contains any vowel or not. Okay, and normally print if any string contains vowels, then how many vowels are there. So research these particular things and try to implement. In the next class, we are going to understand what is the iterative functions, what is the recursive functions, what is the scope of the variable, okay, what is the global variable, what is local variables, okay, and some particular task examples also we are going to understand in the next class. So that's it for today, guys. Any doubt, any questions?